Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Malamed, Shlita. Thank you for joining us along for our learning journey here on a Thursday morning. We continue davening for Charlei Tzagana Yisrael, Refuah Shlema L'chol Petzuei Yisrael, safe return of our hostages, and please remember our learning is dedicated to Le'ilui Nishmas, Seren Daniel Shimon ben Harav, Doron V'Sheli Hashem Yikum Damo. The next chapter, Birchat Kohanim May. Benusaf la'avodas hakarbanos b'Beis HaMikdash, hayu leKohanim shnei tafkidim ikarim. In addition to the work with the karbanos that the Kohanim did in the Beis HaMikdash, there were two other major functions that they served. The first is l'chanech l'haros halacha b'Yisrael. They had to educate and to adjudicate and decide Jewish law for the nation. Ukefi shene'amar, and the pasuk says, and Malachi, ki sifsei chohen yishmeru das v'sori yivakshu mipihu. Pasuk indicates that the lips of the Kohen, they will safeguard knowledge, and you will learn and seek Torah from their mouths. V'hasheni, the second purpose is lios anshe chesed v'shalom, to be people of kindness, people of peace. Ke'aron HaKohen shahaya ohiv shalom v'rodev shalom, ohiv esabris u'makarvan l'Torah. As the well-known line in Pirkei Avos in the first chapter tells us, like Aharon HaKohen, that he was a lover of peace, a pursuer of peace, and he loved all creations and brought them close to the Torah. Sipro la'Aharon HaKohen shahaya yodeh ketzad lahashlam bein adam l'chaver bein ish li'ishto. So Chazal tell us that Aharon, he knew exactly how to make shalom between man and his friend, between husband and wife. Ubizchuso niskaimu alfei zugos b'Yisrael, and because of his merit, so many pairs and couples were able to sustain themselves and survive. Shalidei hashalom sha'asa b'neihem lo nifredu, because of the peace, the shalom bayis that Aharon HaKohen created, they did not separate. Mitokach nodol hamiladim, and as a result they had many children. V'hayukarm esabanim Aharon al Shmo, and they would all name their children Aharon. Kedil of Shar Kohanim lefatech hashnei hayisodim halalu. So in order to enable the Kohanim to fulfill these two purposes, hachachma v'hachesed, wisdom, Torah, chesed, kindness, kavah haTorah shakoram leikablo nachla be'eretz Yisrael. So the Torah decided and decreed that when it came to the division of the land of Israel, when the Jewish people went in, that the Kohanim would not receive an apportioned part of the land. So therefore, if they had no land to work, and they couldn't own property, so how did they sustain themselves? It was from the Truma and Meiser, or really Truma, the gifts and certain things that were designated for the Kohanim that the Jewish people would give them. And this way they wouldn't have to worry about other things, and they could spend their time studying Torah. And they can also concentrate on communal matters in guiding the people of Israel. And since they were supported by the Jewish people, so the Israelim, who are giving these gifts to the Kohanim, they become partners in this spiritual endeavor. And since they didn't have to spend time working the lands, and they're not involved in infrastructure, so to speak, so therefore it will be easier for them to have a relationship with everyone and to create shalom between everyone else, because there's no difference, there's no property disputes and not getting involved in politics and things like that. Since they were neutral, therefore they would be able to increase shalom amongst the people. The love is a very important principle of Birchat Kohanim. Because through their love of the nation, the Kohanim are able to be the emissaries of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because Hashem is blessing the Jewish people through the Kohanim, but they can only do so because there's love, and that explains Zu Lashon HaBracha, of the language of the bracha. They say, Asher Kedshanu V'Kedushaso Shel Aharon V'Tzivonu L'Vreiches Am El Yisrael B'Ahava. The bracha, the language of the bracha, is that they have been sanctified with the sanctity of Aharon, and he has commanded them to bless the Jewish people B'Ahava. And you could just hear your Kohanim, certainly here in Chutz La'aretz, where we much more emphatic about it, B'Ahava. Kasvu HaPoskim, so the Chazal write, Shekol Kohen Shad Tzibur Sonei Oso. If there's a Kohen that is despised by the congregation, Oshu Sonei Sotzibur, if he despises the congregation, Vafilim Hu Sonei Adam Echad Bavad Min Tzibur, even if he only despises one person in the congregation, Asalo Levarach Birchas Kohanim, he's not allowed to duchen. V'im Yivarach Mitoch Sinan, if he makes the bracha in the spirit of hatred, Yavi Al Atmo Sakana, it will cause danger to himself. Ela Olav Lemchoses Asinim Libo, he has to erase the hatred from his heart. Or he should go out of the shul before they start duchening, because the main purpose of this is to bless the Jewish people b'ahava. I'll just add something, a beautiful memory that I heard in the name of Yaakov Kamenetsky. It's found in the Emes LeYaakov and a Sefer and Chumash, that we don't find by any other mitzvah that we give somebody a shakach after doing a mitzvah. So somebody eats a matzah, the whole table doesn't stop and go over and go, oh, yeah, shakach, great job. Somebody shakes a lulav, nobody walks over and says, oh, great job with the lulav. But yet when the Kohanim finish with the blessing, we all go over and we shake their hands, we give them yashakach. When in effect, they're only doing what they're commanded to do. So why do we give them yashakach? So it's not so much because they did the mitzvah that they're commanded to, but rather because they did so bi-ahava, Rabbi Yaakov says. Since they gave the blessing, yes, they have to give the blessing, but because they did so bi-ahava, that's why we give them yashakach. We thank them not only for blessing us, but for doing so bi-ahava. And certainly in Klal Yisrael, it's something that's desperately needed at all times, now perhaps more than ever, to look at fellow Jews, especially those that are different than we are, and we should look at them bi-ahava, and we try our best to create achdus in Klal Yisrael. So thank you again for listening today. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah Yisrael and for Shlomo Chol B'Tzui, Yisrael's safe return of our hostages. Our learning is dedicated in memory of Seren Daniel Shimon and Rav Doron Vasheli. Hashem Yakam Domo. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you here next time.